Good morning. Magandang umaga po. Question I always have in my mind is, how long is this pandemic going to last? When will Philippines be able to reopen the economy? When will things normalize? That's what we'll talk about. Stay with me. I did some research on how long this pandemic is going to last. When are going to receive vaccines? I'm talking about Philippines. When is Philippines going to receive vaccines? And given the infusion of vaccines in the Philippines, how long will this pandemic last? Let's take a look at it. This is the estimated amount received by the Philippines from the US due to pandemic. This is updated as of May 28, a few days ago. First, monetary and some non-monetary stuff. 22.6 million given due to COVID-19 response. Okay, nice. 100 million per year in health, economic development, governance, education, and environment sectors. 3.5 million in vaccination rollout. 2 billion contribution to COVAX to receive enough vaccines to immunize at least 20% of its population by the end of 2021. Philippines is part of COVAX. 100 new state-of-the-art ventilators and associated supplies. This is in addition to training and technology in use of testing, protocols, and data analytics on ecological sustainability. Also, vaccines have been contributed. Now, it appears, I was suspicious. I said, gee, where is all this money going to because of the corruption in the Philippines? But it looks like it's okay. It's being handed out to the people. It appears that although Ayudas were properly allocated, the distribution caused some disparity, with few exceptions. Politicking or palakasan was an added risk when the Department of Social Welfare and Development gave the LGUs to control and disburse the cash initially. Reports of anomalies surfaced, which ended up with the Ombudsman suspending in September of at least 89 barangay chiefs in different parts of the country for alleged irregularities in their ESP emergency subsidy program implementation. I did hear about some people, this is on YouTube, complaining that they only received a portion of what they should have gotten because whoever is handling the distribution is pocketing some of the money. Can you imagine that? From the top to the bottom, corruption. There is corruption in every country. Don't get me wrong, I understand that. But corruption in the Philippines is just too much. A little bit too much, especially in situations like this, like we are in. COVAX was launched in, let's talk a little bit about COVAX. It was launched in April by World Health Organization, the European Commission, and France in response to this pandemic, bringing together governments, global health organizations, manufacturers, scientists, private sector, civil society, and philanthropy, with the aim of providing innovative and equitable access to COVID-19 diagnostics, treatments, and vaccine. COVAX is focused on the vaccine. Okay, the latter. By joining COVAX, both self-financing countries are funded and funded countries will gain access to this portfolio of vaccines as and when they prove to be both safe and effective. COVAX vaccine rollout to the Philippines. Doses allocated, not necessarily delivered, allocated. 4.6 million from AstraZeneca and 2.5 million from Pfizer. That's allocated. How many have been received? First doses received March 4, 2021, 2.6 million from AstraZeneca, so a little bit more than one half, and 193,000 only from Pfizer. So Pfizer still has a lot to go through. Now let's compute this. The population of the Philippines as of sometime in 2019 was 108 million people. Let's take 70% of that, and about 75.6 million needs to be inoculated for us to develop that so-called herd immunity. AstraZeneca committed 4.6 million, so let's assume that they will get that, and 2.5 million from Pfizer, a total of 7.05 million doses. Now, since it requires 2 doses, that means that will only inoculate 3.5 million people, or 4.7% of the 75,600,000 people that needs to be inoculated. That's only 4.7%. Now, let's assume that instead of having 2 shots, only 1 shot is given to get maximum coverage, because that will give you some partial protection, not full protection. So 8%, let's consider it 10%. So by the time we receive all this, only 10% of the population will be inoculated. And we needed 75.6. Another 90%. So I'm not saying this is not going to happen. This is just the initial. While we are developing the momentum, I am pretty sure as time goes on, there will be more commitment to allocate even more than this as the production climbs up. I hope anyway. So it's going to take a while, guys. It will take a while. So I don't know what Philippines is going to do. In the United States, the economy has reopened gradually but surely. People who are inoculated does not have to wear masks when they go inside the stores. I don't wear mask anymore when I'm walking around the streets. And when I go inside the stores, I still put it on, for not only for courtesy, but for my own protection, just to be safe for now. But a lot of people are not, because they are not required if they are already inoculated. The other observation I have is, how do we know that these people are actually inoculated or not? Nobody's checking them, but that's how it goes in the United States. You give some trust to people that they will exercise honesty and due diligence, keeping in mind and realizing that some of them may not be honest. In the Philippines, it's the other way around. They're going to lock you up. They'll lock your door, nail your door to the wall so that you cannot get out. That's China, though, okay? But Philippines is almost like that. Oh, they need police, they need this, they need security. But maybe it cannot be avoided, because a lot of the Filipino people are so undisciplined. You tell them something and they go out there partying. So who's right and who's wrong? Is the government wrong? Is the government right? Should we complain? Shouldn't we complain? Maybe it needed to be done. I don't know. But that's just an observation. Difference between Philippines and United States. For the benefit of people who have not been to the US and don't know what's going on in the US. Now, Sinovac. Let's talk about Sinovac. The World Health Organization has approved China Sinovac Biotech coronavirus vaccine for emergency use, listing paving the way for a second Chinese shot to be used in poor countries. Now, this is as of June 1, this month. Has anything changed? The WHO emergency listing is a signal to national regulators of a product's safety and efficacy, and will allow the Sinovac shot to be included in COVAX, the global program providing vaccines mainly for poor countries which faces major supply problems due to curbs on Indian exports. The WHO independent panel of experts said in a statement it is recommended Sinovac vaccine for adults over 18. So there is no upper age limit, as the data suggested. It's likely to have protective effect on older people, but never give it to anyone under 18. That is the warning. Now, can we trust WHO at this point? We don't know. We don't know. That remains to be seen. But anyway, they did approve Sinovac to be added. So, as of June 1. So hopefully that will send more vaccines to the Philippines. But remember, we have a long way to go. Now let's talk a little bit about Sinovac. And this is a video, I got a clip of it so I can share it with you. For people who have gotten Sinovac vaccines, maybe it's okay, maybe it's not, I don't know. I did not show much in the video because I don't want to violate copyright laws. But I'm only showing excerpt of certain video to deliver the news to you. What they're actually negative about is Sinopharm, which is another company in China. They did not have much mention about Sinovac. But they did say that Sinovac is also a product of China. But whether it should be banned or not, I don't know. Let me show you the video.
China has sold vaccines to the world, vaccines which may not be working. Let's show you China's vaccine map. It is currently exporting vaccines to 43 countries. A total of 742 million doses have been sold, 22 million doses have been donated, 262 million doses have been delivered. China is exporting 3 major vaccines: Sinovac, CanSinoBio, and Sinopharm. So far, so good. Now the million-dollar question: do these vaccines even work? In the month of May, the President of the Philippines apologized for taking a Sinopharm shot. That's not all. He sent the doses back to China. Why did he do this? Because Filipinos
do not want Sinopharm.
They say the Chinese cure is unproven. Next on this list is Saudi Arabia. It has refused to recognize vaccination certificates of Sinovac and Sinopharm. It is recommending Pfizer and AstraZeneca instead.
So it gives you in a nutshell what the United States, 2 companies anyway, have given to the Philippines. There is no news yet about Johnson & Johnson's product. Hopefully we will also receive or send some contributions to the Philippines or donations to the Philippines to expedite the inoculation of people, not only in the Philippines but all over the world. This damage caused by China, or CCP I should say, is really extreme. It's unbelievable. And that is not to mention the connivance of our prince or king, Fauci. Terrible, terrible, terrible. So many things are happening. So guys, judge for yourself how long you think this pandemic is going to last. Unless there's a miracle, production is ramped up and distributed out to different countries all over the world, we're not going to get back to normal for a while. My guess, we'll be very lucky if things normalize by the end of 2021. My guess is probably 2022. I hope anyway. So, sad, sad, sad. But that is the state of affairs at the moment. Okay? So, I have delivered the news to you. Please do hit like if you like this video and share it with others, and I'll appreciate that. And please do subscribe to my channel unless you have already done so. Thank you so much and make it a great day. God bless.